All right, good morning. This morning we turned a page on the calendar into November, which means that the end of street construction season is in sight. We're very near to wrapping up another successful street construction season here in Sioux Falls. Over the last 9 months, the City of Sioux Falls and our partners at the South Dakota Department of Transportation have impacted over 50 miles of streets across the city. Those street construction projects can primarily be categorized into three major areas. First are expansion projects to accommodate future growth that we're experiencing in Sioux Falls, our rehabilitation projects, which improve the condition of streets in poor condition, and finally our proactive maintenance projects, which aims to keep our good streets in good condition. In addition to working on the street surface itself, many of our projects also incorporate updates to the underground utilities, pedestrian facilities, and traffic signals. These investments show a commitment to helping the people of Sioux Falls move across the city in a smoother and more efficient manner. This year's the city's capital improvement program budget was $67.5 million, and we'll highlight a few of those projects for you here this morning. First, we'll touch on a couple of our expansion projects that we performed this year. First one I want to talk about is our project at 85th and Cliff. This project really highlights the coordination that we do with all the school districts that are present in Sioux Falls to ensure the safety of both vehicle traffic and pedestrian traffic around our schools. The Harrisburg School District constructed a new freshman academy at the intersection of 85th and Cliff this year, and the City of Sioux Falls wanted to do a project at 85th and Cliff just to ensure that we had sufficient traffic capacity and to make sure that traffic flow was efficient when the new school opened in August. Work at 85th and Cliff included updates to the underground utilities, widening Cliff Avenue and 85th Street, adding turn lanes, center median, and traffic signals, and that project was completed in early September. The other expansion project to highlight today is our project on North Marion Road, where the City of Sioux Falls is partnering with Minnehaha County to improve a portion of Marion Road and a portion of County Highway 130 due to increased traffic in that area due to continued development and additional businesses coming into Foundation Park. Improvements on Marion Road include new water main, storm drainage, street lights, concrete surfacing, and asphalt surfacing. And that project is expected to be complete in mid-November. Next, I want to touch on some of the major rehabilitation projects that we've been working on this year. The first one is 26th Street from Cleveland Avenue to Alpine Avenue. 26th Street was in pretty rough shape this year, as anyone can attest to. So we went in and did some concrete repairs, did an asphalt overlay to improve the ride quality and extend the life of that street. We also did some minor drainage work, some street lighting work, and we reconstructed 38 accessible curb ramps to come up to current standards. That project is expected to be complete in mid-November. 6th Street from I-229 to Sycamore Avenue received concrete repairs on the east half of the project, and we did an asphalt overlay on the west half of the project to again improve the ride quality and extend the life of the street. We're also performing a diamond grinding on the surface of 6th Street, which will improve the ride quality and smooth out some of those bumps in between the concrete panels to improve the ride quality. That project is also expected to be complete in mid-November. And finally, the last rehabilitation project to touch on is Cliff Avenue between 11th Street and 26th Street. We actually started that project in late 2022, went in and did concrete and utility repairs in the fall of 2022, and came back this summer and did an asphalt overlay on Cliff Avenue. Also want to touch on some of the proactive maintenance programs that the city performs every year. And again, those proactive maintenance program is intended to keep our streets that are in good condition longer to extend the time in between our major rehabilitation and reconstruction on those streets. We have an asphalt overlay program where we go and conduct concrete and utility repairs ahead of an asphalt and overlay on various asphalt streets across the city. And this year, over 200 blocks of streets were improved through the asphalt overlay program. The slurry seal program is another preventative maintenance program that we have that consists of an asphalt patching and application of a slurry seal on the existing asphalt surface. More than 400 blocks of slurry seal was performed this year by crews. Both our asphalt overlay program and our slurry seal program is our cost-effective means to extend the life of our streets and increase the time in between major reconstruction or rehabilitation. Finally, I just want to touch a little bit on our Unity Bridge and 6th Street project downtown. Work started on that in 2023, and we made good progress this year, and work will continue into 2024. Significant progress was made this year with underground utility improvements, railroad crossing improvements, and pouring of the bridge deck. And as I mentioned, construction will be complete on that in the summer of 2024. With that, I'd like to invite Harry Johnston to the podium to discuss some of the DOT projects in Sioux Falls.
Thank you, Brad. My name is Harry Johnston. I'm the area engineer with the South Dakota Department of Transportation here in Sioux Falls. The DOT collaborates with the city of Sioux Falls every year on multiple projects throughout the city, and this year we actually completed 2 of those projects. The first one that I'll talk about is Arrowhead Parkway and the 6 Mile Road reconstruction. Arrowhead Parkway was widened to a 4-lane roadway with a center raised median, 2 lanes each direction. Underground utilities were upgraded. The street lights were added, and then a shared use path was also included with that project. The 6 Mile Road intersection was realigned and then signalized. And with that, the project work on that was completed in September, late September, around the 29th. But there will be periodic lane closures that are going to happen that'll minimally impact the traffic, just to complete some miscellaneous items remaining on the project. Another project that affected traffic in Sioux Falls was Western Avenue and the Interstate 229 intersection. It was completed last week, and all lanes are actually open to traffic. Work on that project consisted of repairs to the bridge resurfacing, and pedestrian rail replacement, and then widening on the northbound on-ramp for I-229 to accommodate the dual left turn movements for the southbound Western Avenue traffic. The following projects that are still ongoing, and they've made significant progress here in 2024 or 2023, and those projects I'll kind of highlight next. 41st Street and the I-29 interchange, there was a lot of progress made on that diverging diamond interchange this year. Key project milestones include the widening and replacement of the bridge deck, the installation of the MSE retaining walls and all the ramps, and then the paving of the surfacing on 41st Street east of I-29 this year. Traffic on 41st Street is now on both sides of the bridge median, and the pedestrian route across the bridge has been established on the south side of the bridge. Lane configuration for the winter for this project is going to include 3 lanes each direction, both east and west of I-29, but there will only be 2 lanes across the bridge in the eastbound direction. The intersection will be transformed into a diverging diamond interchange next spring, including some ramp closures for median construction, and that will mark the full completion of that diverging diamond. Prior to opening that to traffic, we're actually going to have a public outreach and diverging diamond education in conjunction with the city in order to kind of help guide the public on how the intersection is actually going to function here in Sioux Falls. Another major project that we had here is the Benson Road and I-229 interchange reconstruction. That project includes reconstruction of Benson Road from Lewis to Hall Avenues and the addition of a diverging diamond as well at the Benson Road and I-229 interchange. Benson Road will be widened to 3 lanes west of I-229 and 2 lanes to the east of I-229. Again, underground utility upgrades, new concrete surfacing, and a center median are all included with Benson Road as well as sidewalk. And then the project, when it is complete, it will actually be one of the first triple left turn lanes in use on I-229 for the northbound off-ramp in order to accommodate those high traffic volumes. Traffic for the 2023-24 winter, we will be open to 2 lanes in each direction, so traffic will be able to flow nicely through that section, and all of the ramps will be open to traffic. And the project won't be completed until the spring of 2025. The final project that I'll touch on is the South Veterans Parkway project that kicked off this year. So construction started on segment 1 between Cliff and Western Avenue here in midsummer. Work included the reconstruction of the intersection at South Veterans Parkway and Cliff Avenue, and then additional turn lanes at Minnesota Avenue were added, and work on the new bridge that'll be constructed over 85th Street has begun as well with the retaining walls. The 2023 work that major milestones that we made, all of the grading work was completed. So the dirt is in place and you can see the corridor taking shape. So for the entire 2 miles, and the pedestrian underpass was installed near Minnesota Avenue. Segment 1 will be completed next fall after the surfacing and landscaping is completed in 2024. Work on this project throughout the winter is going to include work on the bridge over 85th Street, which they've scheduled setting of the girders in December, and then decking of the bridge for an anticipated deck pour in early spring. With that, those are the projects I wanted to highlight with DOT and city coordination, and from there we can take any questions.
Explain for you first. You said 3 lanes each way, then 2 eastbound. I'm just kind of trying to visualize that.
Sure. So on each side of I-29, there are 3 lanes going in each direction, east and west. On the structure itself across I-29, there will be 3 lanes in the westbound direction, but only 2 lanes in the eastbound. The reason is that's where we're accommodating the pedestrian traffic for the winter until we transfer it to a full diverging diamond in the spring.
Right now, it's like 1 lane each way, right?
I believe so, yeah. Once they're hoping that hopefully towards the end of November, they'll be able to get 2 lanes in each direction opened up to traffic, and then that'll kind of be their winter shutdown period. Yes.
Is that going to be, because you mentioned 2 diverging diamonds, are those going to be the first diverging diamonds in Sioux Falls, or is it another one? Because you said there's going to be training for how to apply on it?
Sure. So, pardon? Oh, yes. So the question was, is that one of the first, the first diverging diamonds in and around Sioux Falls? So in South Dakota itself, we have one other diverging diamond that just opened this year out in Rapid City at the La Crosse interchange. As far as Sioux Falls goes, this will be our first diverging diamond, and that is going to be at 41st Street. Benson Road will be the second, and then we're actually going to work on the Brandon interchange out at 406 on I-90. That'll be the third one. So yes, we want to be able to educate the public. It's a newer type of interchange for South Dakota. It functions greatly. There's over 100 of them throughout the United States, so it's going to help us with our traffic volumes.
Have normally these contracts include penalties for not meeting certain performance metrics or goals or gates. That has been an issue with the contract. City or state.
I can't speak to the city, but as far, so the question was with completion dates and penalties and things like that, has there been anything that we've seen this year? This year's been great as far as construction goes with the drier weather. Most of our projects have been right on track with scheduling or even ahead of scheduling to some degree. As far as most of the state projects themselves, we're looking really good this year.
I would say the same for the city. I'm not aware of any projects where we've assessed liquidated damages at this point, but we're still in the process of starting the closeout process on all of our projects, and we'll take a look at when projects actually get complete compared to when their contract completion dates were. Yep.
So just to confirm, how late you guys go with construction into the year?
The question was, how late do we go with construction into the year? It's strictly weather dependent. Certainly we set our completion dates, based on averages for the past. Typically, as far as asphalt construction goes, it's usually depends on when the asphalt plants determine it's not economically feasible to stay open, which is typically around Thanksgiving, give or take a week or two, depending on what the weather does. A lot of times if we've got some additional funding, we'll try to get as much done as we can, in a certain year. But for the most part, we set our completion dates in that early to mid-November to get ahead of the weather.
Nope, the same thing with us as well. We look at seasonal limitations, weather, all of those things affect. There are some specific work, such as the bridge over 85th Street, that the contractors will be able to do some work throughout the winter months. But then that'll all be, usually there's shorter days and due to some cold temperatures, a little reduced productivity. So anything they can get done is definitely going to help the project next spring.